Okay, so we have a good number and probably in another 1 or 2 minutes. Right, we can start the session. And once again, thank you all for joining Saturday morning. Appreciate all of you. Please use this session as a networking session too. Please provide your name, your where you're working, and your LinkedIn profile if needed, so that people can network with you. And use the chat window for question and answer sessions too. With that, we can start. Thank you again. So a couple of ground rules before we go ahead. As I already mentioned, take the advantage of the chat window to get network and ask the question and answers and all that. And you will be getting a PDU after the session, and this will be automatically provided to you once the webinar is completed. With that, I officially start this, and today we have Manohar Yerraguntla with us, who is talking about establishing your PMO practical guide to success. Manohar Yerraguntla is a distinguished project management professional and with 18 years of experience spanning in manufacturing, aerospace, and IT sectors. He is currently head of the project management office at Amaraja Energy and Mobility. Manohar drives strategic initiatives from the executive director's office. His innovative leadership has earned him accolades such as the first runner-up of 2024 PMO Leader of India and in the PMO Methodology and Process Excellence Distinction Award at the 2024 PMOGA Global Awards. In addition to his corporate success, Manohar is also our Vice President, Chapter's Vice President, and has been a volunteer as well as a director from the past from since 2018. He's a seasoned speaker. He has delivered impactful sessions in a chapter as well as globally, and global summits like PMI Global Summit, Asia Pacific Leadership Institute meetings, and PMI South Asia conferences. Manohar supports professionals transitioning into project management roles. His visionary approach and deep expertise in PMO practices underscores his unwavering commitment to excellence and advancement of the project management community. Having said that, without further ado, I request Manohar to take up the podium and provide us the session. And thank you, Manohar, for joining. Bench is yours.
Thanks, Gokul. Thanks for the lovely introduction. Good morning, friends. Gokul, can I start sharing my screen?
Sure, yes, please. Go ahead.
Sure. Okay, can you stop it? It's not allowing me.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
So now you are host as well. Sorry.
No, I'm the host. So okay, that's nice. So is my voice clear, Gokul?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So yeah, once again, good morning, friends, and let me start thanking all of you for making some time on your Saturday and joining our knowledge sharing session. Happy and to be privileged to be part of this knowledge sharing session. This is one of a very old initiative of PMI Pole City chapter, been running from last 6-7 years, at least I know, successfully. And thanks to Gokul for driving this initiative relentlessly from last 2.5 years. And today's session, team, I will try to be more interactive so that I want not only I just want to teach you, but at the same time, I want to learn from your experience also. So make it a two-way interactive session. So I will be asking a lot of questions to you, and please don't mind, and please make sure that even you keep answering those things. And here, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. We keep learning from our experiences. With this, let me start. So yeah, I think Gokul gave a nice introduction to me. I don't spend here. I have a total of 18 plus years of experience heading and currently heading project management office at Amar Raja, key strategic project management office. And I'm in the board currently as vice president, and I'm in the board from last 7 years. And till date, I have designed around 4 PMOs. I've been part of project management journey from I started my career into project management, and at least 4 PMOs I have successfully built, designed and built. And I'm a seasoned speaker, been part of various domestic, national, and international forums. And I have received PMO Leader of the Year. I'm the first runner-up of 2024 PMI Awards. And recently, my team has received a PMO award, and we were the India winners, PMO team of the India winners, and we received for best methodologies and practices award by PMI recently. And this is something just this is what I mentioned, that PMO Leader of the Year, and I've been recognized as one of the top PMOs of India by PMO recently on the PMO Day. And this is a few glimpses of us from Amar Raja. We have received a prestigious award as PMO Global Awards. And that is me along with my team, along with Americo. And these are some of the picks from various forums, been part of various panel discussions, especially on the PMOs. And recently, even I have just received a certification from PMI on PMO Certified Practitioner. It gives you a certification that this particular person has the ability, knowledge to set up a PMO, a CP. This is a new certification that PMI has come up. That's something about me. Let me go into the next details. So what is meant by the first question to all of you is, what is a PMO? Can someone, maybe I think you can unlock yourself and you can talk, or maybe if you think that is easy, just ping in the chat window. What is a PMO?
Program Management Office, Project Management
Project
Office.
Management Office.
Okay, Project Management Office. So any Program Management Office, any other questions, any other answers?
Project Support Office.
Project Support Office, very good. Any more? So let us see. And how many of you are part of PMO? To manage projects and programs, that's correct. So many of you are part of PMO currently. You can raise your thumbs up. Okay, I think, yeah, one hand raised. Part of PMO, okay. Charintana, yeah, I know him. Charintana. So you may not be directly part of PMO, but does your organization have a PMO?
Yes.
Great. So let us see the next 30-35 minutes. I will try to wrap up everything in next 30 minutes, and maybe last 10-15 minutes, we'll keep it up for Q&A so that I can answer more of your queries and I can clarify them fruitfully. So let us see collaboratively what is a PMO. And what challenges do you think that a PMO can solve? Why do you need a PMO, first of all, and what challenges do you think that a PMO can solve for you? Maybe in the chat window, you can open it up. So why do you need a PMO, first of all? And what challenges do you think that it can solve?
Yeah, so Manohar, hi, this is Ravi Shankar here.
Hi,
And
Ravi.
I am a part of PMO in my organization as a program manager. And I noticed that most of the prime responsibility of the PMO is to ensure the delivery of the project successfully, as well as at the same time we have to focus on the revenue, which revenue recognition by the customer for organization.
Okay, great. Thank you. And yeah, thanks, Ravi. And I can see, proper delivery of projects, coordination, strategic planning, streamlining the execution of project, set up project management tools, methodologies, metrics collection, transparency, cross-functional team collaboration, problem solving, reduce friction between cross-functional teams and strategic planning. Awesome. That's, I think you nailed it, team. I think all of your responses are apt, and one or other way, all of them, the PMO is going to solve documentation, SPOs, SOPs. That's excellent. Awesome. I think the reason why I asked you questions, I just want to check the pulse of the audience. Based on it, I will speed up my session, or I can go little advanced on how to set up the PMOs. Awesome. I can see that most of you know the basic functionality of a PMO, and most of you are part of one or another way part of a PMO. So that makes my job little easier. Thank you very much. And again, one more question. What is the basic difference between PMO and a project manager?
So PMO is a group of project managers.
Okay. PMO is a group of project managers. Okay, that's whereas the project manager is the individual guy. So how exactly different? What are the roles and responsibility of a project manager and a PMO?
Okay, so I think in the PMO office we collaborate and we discuss and define a process which expected that every project manager will adhere to that and follow that.
Everyone, this is a weekly FNPA system schedule.
No,
Do not
just sorry.
do not evacuate the building. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah. Go ahead, sorry. Sorry, I got a emergency system activated in the office, so nothing to panic. I think they are doing some checks. So let me go through.
Good morning, everyone. This is the weekly FNPA system schedule. Do not panic and please do not evacuate the building. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. There is a construction thing going on at my home. That's the reason I came to office. Then office sounds little weird today. So, okay, let me go through what is the definition, not definition, what is the basic difference between a PMO and a project manager. See, there is a whole lot of difference between a PMO, the functions or the responsibilities of a PMO associate and a project manager. The biggest difference between a PMO and project manager is focus on the responsibilities. Both of them work for project management only. Both of them works in project management discipline, but the focus and the responsibility each one take care are different. A project manager is assigned to one particular project. If you take any project manager, or most of you are project managers, you will be allocated to one or two projects and to oversee the operations right from start to finish. Whereas PMO is continuously engaged with multiple projects. If you see, a PMO doesn't own only one project. If I have a particular PMO function in my organization, a PMO or someone who is responsible to run the PMO or PMO team member is responsible for multiple projects, and they coordinate with multiple project managers to ensure that each project is on track and meet its objectives. And there is also a difference between a PMO manager and a PMO project manager. And we have a project manager. At the same time, we have a PMO manager. Both of them are called managers, but the roles and the responsibilities are slightly different. A PMO manager is responsible for the development and maintenance of the framework. If you see the major, some of you mentioned that PMO will come and standardize the process and set some standard SOPs, right? Exactly. So as a PMO manager, you have to define some standard operating procedures and also come up with a framework that is best suitable to your organization. Whereas a project manager will use this particular framework and execute a project. So Fundamentally, a project manager is someone who takes care of a one or two or small set of projects, whereas PMO is someone who takes care of the entire organization projects and also helping the organizations to come up with the standardization of project management methodologies. And in other words, PMO is more concerned with bigger picture. That's exactly as I mentioned that organization-wise, the PMO is responsible, whereas the project manager is responsible is for particular function or particular department or particular project. I hope that I made clear about the difference between PMO and the project manager. Yes, Tim? Let me see some more examples like PMO manager. PMO manager helps the organization or help the project managers, advisors, and review the projects and facilitate in project execution and conducts regular audits to ensure that the project management practices have been followed and mentor or coaches the team members or the project managers across the organization and helps the organization, help the senior executives in strategic planning and train the project management resources and manage the projects. Here, manage the project, again, it's not the complete 100% responsibility. Again, a level of responsibilities will be differ from a project to project, which we will learn in subsequent slides, and also the knowledge management. Whereas the project manager, typically, we know we plan, we track, we initiate, control, manage, execute, estimate, organize, communicate. And all these activities will be done at a particular department level or a particular project level. One or two projects or maybe three projects a project manager will take. So this is the fundamental difference between a PMO manager and project manager. So many of the organizations, they think that they are project managers and why do they need a PMO? But the roles and responsibilities and work and the results which a project manager deliver and the results which a PMO manager will deliver will be completely different. And let us see a definition of a PMO. This is as per the PMBOK Project Management Book of Knowledge. A PMO, Project Management Office, is a centralized organization function that standardizes the process. It is a centrally located function which standardizes the process, tools in terms of executing the project and tracking of the project, and the best practices related to project management across an organization. Its purpose is to ensure projects are executed efficiently and align with organizational goals and deliver value consistently. See, when I asked about what is a PMO, right, and this exactly that all of you have mentioned, it is a centralized body which standardizes the process and which helps you with the tools and techniques and some best practices related to project management across the organization. And it will ensure the projects which are taken care by the organization are effectively utilizing all of this and delivering the best value consistently to the organization. So a PMO office is very, very critical for the success of the organization. Let us see what can be the key functions. Just again, one more question. I will take a pause here. You can keep in a chat window. What are the key functions of a PMO? Just randomly you can tell what can be the key functions of a PMO. But what does the PMO? I think you guys said, right? You said that controlling all those things, but maybe in a more organized way, what exactly they do? Tracking projects, strategic, managing resources, budget.
Audits.
So
Audits.
they will mainly sort of establish the project governance and standards. They also look into the performance monitoring and reporting.
Excellent. Performance
end-to-end.
monitoring. And by doing all those things, what do you achieve? What are you trying to establish?
It's just that, for example, if they look into the performance monitoring, through that mechanism, they sort of track the project progress. They at times identify risk and also they can assess the performance against the organization objective. So it sort of helps the management to make certain informed decisions and divert those projects towards a successful outcome.
Right. Excellent. You said right. And I'm just going through that. And one thing that catch my folder, generate value for PMO stakeholders. I think Chirantan, yeah, that's excellent. That is something why a PMO exists. is to generate a value for the organization, and a value that might be a tangible or intangible. Here, value never talks about a monetary thing. Some of the PMOs help you get monetary benefit and some intangible benefits. But in a whole term, we call it as a value generation. So as a PMO, my responsibility is to generate value to the organization. And the more value I maximize, the more value generation or more value perception to the organization, that is better for the PMO. And the more successful PMOs are measured against this value generation. Excellent. And I think all the answers that you mentioned is absolutely right. And just just for your understanding, I'm just summarizing strategic alignment and project governance. As a PMO, we have to work with key strategic projects, especially on key strategic projects. And every organization, we have some strategy that they want to see themselves after 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years, where they want to go. So all the projects are the support a PMO should align with the strategic alignment of the organization, so that we can ensure that the project that we are executing that will drive the organization towards the strategic goal. And also project governance is one of the key functions of a PMO. And define the project management methodologies. Everyone want to have their own project management methodology, but it doesn't help that way. So we need to have a standardized process across the organization. So it always, friends, always remember that whatever the system that we deploy or whatever the process we deploy, always there should not be any manual interference, and also there should be a standard process. So there should not be any people dependencies. Either I'm there or I'm not there. My organization should have a standard operating procedures in terms of project management. And that's exactly PMO does. PMO comes with a standard process or standard frameworks for projects, either in terms of waterfall or in terms of agile or in terms of hybrid or small, medium, complex, strategic, operational, tactical. Here, I'm not segregating it to any particular function, particular type of the project, either whatever the type of the project is, but you need to have a standardized project management methodologies. That's exactly the discipline that PMO will get into an organization. And best practices, it is again linked with the same standard project management methodology. Common corporate culture. By having this, what happened? You will have a very common corporate culture, and everyone talks in the same language. Everyone prepares the project report in the similar way. Everyone understands the stakeholders in the similar way, so that you will have a very common and transparent common corporate culture developed within the organization. And resource management. This is I can say that 50% of the organizations, they forgot that even PMO does a resource management, because PMO tracks each and every project in the organization. They know which project requires how many resources. So it is always advisable. Some of the PMOs, especially some of the well-recognized PMOs, even PMOs are recognized for tracking of the resources also and ensuring that we optimally utilize these resources. Tools and reporting, yes, definitely. Being a PMO, we have to establish a very robust tools and reporting mechanism, because we need to ensure that right message, right information is taken at right time, and the right message has been passed to the right person at the right time. That is very important to us. And transparency across. By doing all those things, what you are trying to get, you have the right information, sending the project status reports to the different levels, and you have the dashboard which talks about how is the project doing, how is my project performance doing. All those things brings transparency across all the levels. And by this, you improve your communication. If you know that if you have a transparent communication and transparency across all the organization, the communication will automatically. These are some of the key. I can say that these are some of the key functions. Not only these 8. I just for your understanding, I made it 8, but there are a lot of other functions also that will be part of the PMO. And again, it depends upon the organization, which organization culture and organization which you are working. Till now, any questions, team? I hope that I made it clear. Okay, I will take that as yes. And we know about what is a PMO, what is the PMO does, the different types of PMO. Any guesses? Just quickly. Yeah. Any different types of PMOs we have? Supportive, directive, controlling. Awesome. So we have three different types of PMOs. One is supportive PMO. Supportive PMO is a very basic level of PMO. It talks about providing templates, best practices, training and guidance, and act as a consulting body without enforcing strict controls. As like where a PMO has a very loose control about the organization, where we just want to give some training to the team. Maybe it's something like more like a R&D team, L&D team, where we provide trainings and best practices and tools and templates. And here, our control on the resources, our control of the PMO on the projects are very, very minimal. And the organization, they just need some support because they have a very good project management culture, or they might have a very good process. They don't need to establish another department which is controlling the project. At the time, they can go for a supportive PMO. It is very basic level of PMO. And second one is controlling. Here, the basic difference between supportive and controlling is they does the same job, but here it enforces project management methodology. Whereas in the earlier supportive PMO, it tells these are some of the good practices available in the market and these are the tools, templates we can use, but it never enforces it. It leaves to the choice to the project management team, project managers, whether they want to use or they doesn't want to use. Whereas in controlling PMO, it enforces project management methodologies, standards, and compliance. And monitors, not only enforces, it monitors whether are we adherence, are we following those standards or not. And they report back to the management. And third one is a directive PMO. This is a more of authoritative PMO where you have a lot of control. Directly manages projects by assigning project manager. Here, all the projects of the organization, whenever there is a new project, that automatically comes to PMO funnel, so that a PMO functional manager or functional head makes necessary decisions who should manage the work and who should be part of the particular team. So they directly manage the project by assigning project manager and taking full responsibility. So in the first two things, they will be either directing or supportive, right? The PMO team never takes the complete project management responsibility or complete delivery of the project. Whereas in the third one, they own the complete ownership right from starting to the end handover of the project, and ensures high control and alignment within the business. So these are the technically, either you take PMBOK guide or you take any of the PMO standards across the organization. These are the three different types of PMOs we have. Do you have any other PMOs in your mind? Any other PMOs do you think that you have? We have traditional project management office. We have VMO, some call as transformation office, enterprise PMO, business management, agile management office. We have portfolio and program management office, technology management office, digital PMO, strategic management, and resource management. These are some of the very well-known PMOs across the globe. Some of you might be knowing, or some of you may not be knowing. Even there might be some more which I don't know. As for my knowledge, I try to formulate all these things to you. And my question is, which PMO we should choose? Any suggestions which PMO we should choose?
Value management office.
Value management office, okay.
Digital.
Okay. But friends, believe me, in the interest of time, I'm not going in deep, but there is nothing called preset PMOs, and don't ever copy any PMO types. And even academic researchers, either you take any PMBOK guide or any of the project management guides or practices. I have read through a lot of PMO books across the world, and nothing will prescribe, okay, go for this PMO. This is the best PMO. There is nothing called ideal PMO or best PMO. It again depends upon your organizational culture and the need of the stakeholders. And unfortunately, there is no standard for PMOs even from PMI, but soon PMI will be releasing PMO standard guide. Just wait for February. They will be helping you to come up with some framework. And never follow any preset type of PMOs. That is the shortest way of failure. Some of the organization, I went to a forum, I went to a conference where I have seen some executive has come and presented that they have particular PMO and these are the structure. that they followed and they are successfully executing that. And don't just come and replicate the same PMO. It might fail because the organization culture is different. The people, stakeholder needs are different. So the shortest way of failure is presetting or using something which is already established in some organization. And success.
Attention, please.
Sorry.
Due to an emergency, it is necessary to evacuate the building. Please leave by the nearest exit. Do not use the lifts. Attention, please. Due to an emergency, it is necessary to evacuate the building. Please leave by the nearest exit. Do not use the lifts.
I believe a typical PMO.
They want you
message
to
is,
go to home on Saturday,
Attention,
Manohar.
please. Due to an emergency, it is necessary to evacuate the building. Please leave by the nearest exit. Do not use the lifts.
I'm sorry.
Attention, please. Due to an emergency, it is necessary to evacuate the building. Please leave by the nearest.
Okay. Sorry, friends. It's really unfortunate. Even I don't have any information that there is a fight drill that is happening. Okay. So the success of your PMO always depends upon how flexible you are and adapt to the stakeholder needs. And there is no right or wrong way. That the only what you need to do is what is value that you can generate to the organization or to the PMO. In fact, choosing a type absolutely is not necessary. What really matters to a PMO is what services that you are offering to your stakeholders. Like services here is, again, one important point. Always PMO should not be a function. PMO should be a service provider. That means that we have to add value. I mentioned that we have to add value, right? So that we should treat ourselves as a service provider. And if we are meeting all our stakeholders' needs and if we are set up all the functions that meet the stakeholder needs, then that way that the PMO is successful. And PMO mix, functional mix, therefore, can be either this already I mentioned, you can be strategic, supportive, center of excellence. It doesn't matter what type of PMO is. As far as you are catering to your needs of your stakeholders and they are meeting and you are generating some value to the organization, then you are a successful PMO. And again, here, before you start dwelling into any of your PMO, right, then here you have to see what do you need. You need a painkiller or antibiotic. Here, what is meant by painkiller or antibiotic is you want to set up PMO just to get some short-term benefits, like you want to develop some standardization within the organization, or you want to execute some problem. Like when I have a pain, right, when I have some joint pain, I immediately go to a painkiller, right? Then immediately I get results. So within half an hour, 1 hour, my pain will go off. But that doesn't give you a long-term solution. What happens after tomorrow? If I don't use my painkiller, again the pain will come back. So here, if you are trying to establish something as short-term, right, then the painkiller will work. And something like antibiotics, I want to develop my immunity system, or I want to give some time to my body to come up with immunity system, that is antibiotic. So even before establishing a PMO, you have to decide whether you need a painkiller or antibiotic, whether you need a short-term. It again based on the stakeholder or based on someone who is funding you, the organization. If they are trying to set up the PMO to give you an immediate benefit, then the painkiller, that is a short-term PMO, will help. Short-term objectives, you need to have very short-term objective. Whereas long-term objective is something like antibiotics. And with this, I have come up with, there is no standard methodology available across the organization based on a lot of literature across the organization. Based on my knowledge in last 18 years, I have come up with some eight-step process that will help you to understand how to set up these PMOs. The first one is identify the purpose of the PMO or the objectives, or identify the objectives of the PMO. And the second step is secure the executive sponsorship and define PMO process or the types or the roadmaps, and establish your PMO performance indicators. Here, something like specify what deliverables, what are the KPIs, and what are the success metrics. And then you establish your team, you build your team. And next, show some value generation. Once after setting up the process, everything, the team is there, then you have to start delivering some value to your stakeholders. And then once after starting delivering, the next step is evaluate your PMO and take feedbacks and continuous improvement. And finally, once you can evaluate your PMO and establish, right, then you scale and optimize your PMO so that you can replicate the PMO across all the departments or you can have a centralized COE PMO that caters to across the organization. These are the 8 unique steps that if you want to establish, someone want to establish a PMO, and these are not the 8 only steps. There might be some intermittent steps, but just to give a glimpse to all of you, these are the 8 steps that help you to standardize establishing your project management office. In next few slides, what we'll do is we'll try to go in detail about each one of them and identify the purpose. The first step I mentioned is first identify the purpose of PMO. Why do you need a PMO? Is your stakeholders or someone asked you need a PMO, or is it something proactively as a project manager, as a project management expert, you want to set up the PMO? Then once you decide that you want to set up a PMO, then you want to work around it to come up with a business case around the PMO. Then you have first you have to understand the stakeholders. You can see the pic, right? There are PMOs and there are PMO stakeholders. And as a PMO, I know that I can do all these things, right? I can do standardization, I can do this tools, I can set up tools, I can standardize the process, I can do many things. But when I go and talk to my stakeholders, I cannot talk in the same language. I have to go and ask them the right questions. You have to ask them is, what is your pain areas? First, you have to understand what is the challenges a stakeholder is having in the project or in his department. Then try to interact with the different stakeholders. Either it can be right from executive, like maybe your senior executive, middle level manager, even the lower level team members. You have interaction with each one of them and try to collect what are the pain areas of each of them. Once you have the pain areas, right, then you can do some weightage to each of them. Then as a PMO, you can decide which functions you have to establish. Someone say that I need some transparency. I'm not seeing what is happening in the organization. Where are my projects? Then that means that you have to set up a structure where the data will flow, the project results will flow automatically so that seniors can see what's happening with the project. Or someone said that every time I have a communication challenge or I am missing the deadline, that means that you need to have a stringent project management process. So the first step for the success of any project is identify the stakeholders and do some interviews with them and try to collect what are the pain areas. Once you identify the pain areas, then you can suggest what functions as a PMO that you can establish. And the second thing is, once you have the pain areas and once you decide these are the functions, like the 8 to 10 functions I showed, right? Maybe you don't need to do all those 8 to 10 functions. You can choose 3 functions, 4 functions. And also, all the functions are necessary for one stakeholders. You can segregate some functions to senior stakeholders, some functions to middle level managers, and some functions to the lower level people also. And once you have those, you have to obtain secure the sponsorship from executive team, like someone has to sponsor, because the PMO team doesn't generate money directly, but it needs money to operate, right? So you need to have an executive sponsorship, the second step. And then once you have the executive sponsorship, right, then PMOs, you need to define what type of processes that you have to do. I mentioned that we have different project management process like VMO, XMO. Then this is a step where you see how exactly you can structure your PMO. Generally, what people will do is first they will define the start a PMO, then we will decide, okay, what to do. That is a wrong step. Many of the organizations, they fail. They see that some PMO is working very well. They say, okay, let us start a PMO team. Then after starting a PMO team, they will think, okay, what should I do as a PMO? That is the wrong way. First, you think what a PMO team should do, what are the pain areas, then you start a PMO. This is the best method and this is the best process so that you can maximize the success criteria of your project. And the better approach is, it is more effective to formally define the processes of each function. As like functions, you know that what are the process, either you want to standardize the process or you want to bring some discipline within the organization, or you want to set up a good tools and tracking mechanism. That first you have to define, and then you have to establish a process around it. Like every organization will have internal processes, like either you can take help of your quality management system or QA. Then you come up with a standard operating procedure across each of the function. And by establishing well-defined process upfront, right, the PMOs can align very well with the stakeholders. And once you are very well aligned with your stakeholders, what happens? The likelihood or the project success of the particular function will be more. And here you can be strategic, operational. It is not at all a sign of maturity, but a consequences of stakeholders' needs. This I will come back in the last slide. Once you have the PMO processes, right, the next step is establish performance indicators. Here, performance indicators are KPIs. To make it very simple, how can you track the project management office efficiency? How can, just as an example, below some of the KPIs, like what is the project success rate of PMO is taking care of 100 projects, and out of 100 projects, how many of projects are going on time, within the schedule, within the budget? All those things will define your project success rate, project delivery rate, and also budget adherence. This is very important. PMO will has to ensure that we have to complete the project within the budget. And stakeholder satisfaction. Most importantly, we agreed that these are the pain areas of the stakeholders, and we have come up with a process, right? Then at a given intervals, we have to keep tracking the stakeholder satisfaction, how a PMO functions are affecting their project performance. So the more the stakeholder performance, more likelihood that value addition of the PMOs to the organization. And most importantly, return of investment, ROI. Here you cannot track with everything in budget, right? Return on investment in terms of stakeholder satisfaction, in terms of more project success rate, in terms of adherence to schedule, in terms of resource optimization. There are different ways a PMO can establish all of this. And the next, once after establishing the PMO integration, the next thing is build the team. Here, it can be, as I mentioned, that the project manager and PMO team members are different, but it again depends on the level of the, if you are a directive PMO, then the project manager and PMO team responsibilities will be same. If you are controlling, or if you don't have enough control on your project, there the responsibilities are different. So don't just go and recruit people. In case if some people are available within your organization, you can have an interview with them, and you can take them if they align with the needs of the organization. Or sometimes some organizations are very demanding. At the time you need particular skill set, then at the time you have to go out in the market and fetch those type of resources. The professional that best meet the requirements set of the competition to each function should be allocated. Like as I mentioned, that each stakeholder has a different need. Whenever you're assigning someone, that particular stakeholder, that particular team member should have that knowledge. Then only he or she gonna help the particular function. The greater adherence to the competencies required, the greater the value generated. Here, every time I'm mentioning the value generation from a PMO is very, very important. The more sophisticated process, or the more maturity you get, right, the value generation should be more. Then once after having the team members, then you go into regular operations. You have your PMO team members sitting across all the organizations and helping different PMOs. The next step is showcase some value generation. PMO exists. Why PMO exists is there are some pain areas, like my project success rate is very less, or I can say that always I'm going over budget than what is, and I'm using more resources than required. What happens if you are missing the schedule, or you are using more budgets, or you are using more resources? What you are keeping a dent to the organization profitability. So a PMO exists literally to reduce the losses to an organization. That might be directly or indirectly. So each of the services what we exist to deliver as a PMO, that will help to reduce the losses to an organization. The recovery potential is directly influenced by the maturity of each PMO and the level of competency with each function can be offered. And each function that a PMO defines or PMO manages, it adds some value to the organization over a period. You cannot just get value just like this, right? It takes at least 12 months for an PMO to stabilize and generate some value. And the solution here is, if you want to maximize your value, you have to balance the mix of functions. You cannot say just I will provide the transparency in terms of communication. No, it doesn't help you. In a short term, that might help you. But in a long term, you have to standardize your process. You have to establish and you have to build the culture of project management across your organizations. So again, here you have to strike a balance between whether you want long-term benefits or whether you want to short-term benefits or long-term benefits. And PMO also should adapt to the changing needs of the construction of the organization and construct a unique PMO. So here a PMO which is established something like you have established a PMO, and over a period of 6 months, if there is a change, if there is a requirement for change, PMO cannot be very strong and say that no, we cannot change. Always your stakeholders are important. Always your sponsorship, your sponsor is important. If there is any deviation, if there is any requirement from these two stakeholders, and PMO should be flexible enough. As I mentioned, that what is success criteria of PMO, that the success criteria of PMO is you need to be as flexible as possible. And by evolving along with customer, the PMO ensure that it delivers sustained value and remains relevant over time. That is very important point for us. If you want to stay relevant, you have to adjust to the customer needs, changing customer needs. And once you start generating value to it, then you have to, it is important. See, something I have established a successful PMO, it doesn't mean that I can stop and I can go. You have to continuously evaluate your PMO. PMO success, always, this is very important point. Always the project success, PMO success. These are the two different things. Always project success and PMO success, they are not same. Project success depends upon the what type of function that you are working. As the PMO, I am responsible for the 100% delivery of the project to the customer. Then the project success and PMO success are same. Whereas here, I am helping you to standardize the process. As far as if I can standardize the process and help you with the correct metrics, then my PMO job is done. So always while tracking the PMO, right, you have to ensure what type of success criteria, what type of KPIs that you are keeping to the organization based on the grip on the projects. And example, provide methodology. If you are providing methodologies, then you can provide how many projects that you have completed and how many projects which are following 100% methodologies. And is your PMO contributing to the business success by improving project outcomes? And survey project stakeholders. This is very important. I mentioned that continuously you have to interact with the stakeholders and take their needs. Take whether are we catering, is my PMO catering to all the needs of the organization, all the needs of the stakeholders or not. If you get something maybe negative or something you feel like you are not catering, then you have to readjust. And measure PMO's contribution to strategy also. By end of the day, why PMO is a strategic? Because it is something like asset. At the same time, there is a liability to the PMO. It requires a lot of, because the skill set that required for the PMO team members are completely different. So you get very rarely the PMO team members, good PMO team members, where you have to pay in very high. So definitely it is a big liability to an organization. So at the same time, what are the projects that you execute that will contribute to the strategy of the organization? So that way you maximize your project delivery and the value. And review process and methodologies. And scale. I have established my process. My team is there. We are executing well. I am generating value to it. And I have a process of retrospection. Everything is there. And the next step is, generally, we cannot start a PMO for the complete organization. We might start with a particular set of projects or particular set of functions or a department. Once you show the value, once stakeholders realize this, it is going to help you, then the next step is you can scale the project PMO office across all the departments or complete organization. At the same time, when you are scaling, be ensured that you optimize this. Gradually increase the PMO influence across the organization, adopt process frameworks, lessons learned from the industry. This is it's like a PMO or any of the thing is like riding a bicycle. You have to keep pedaling. Pedaling here is learning the new things. If you don't learn the new things, right, what happens if you don't pedal on a bicycle? You will fall down. Exactly, PMO also keeps adapting to the new frameworks. Here, I'm not talking about go for a waterfall, go for a safe, go for a DAD, go for some project management. Depends on your organization culture. You can take any of the project management methodology that is available in the market. But what are the latest methodology that is available in the market, that whichever best suits to you, you have to adopt it. Otherwise, the PMO is going to fail. It is important to remember that organizational maturity and project management maturity are different concepts. Your organization may be too matured, but it doesn't mean that your PMO team also should be matured. It might take some time for the organizational maturity and PMO maturity to come to a particular level, but don't ever compare organizational maturity with the PMO maturity. The maturity of the PMO offers functions not only to sophistications and configuration can generate. So the more mature your PMO here, the crux of this point is the more mature your PMO is, the more value that you can generate. So with this, some more information. Typically, when you are these are the 8 different steps that are required to establish a PMO in your organization. Typically, it takes 12 months to establish a PMO in organization team. It will take at least 12 months for you to establish your PMO. And how often you review your PMO functions? At least once in 12 months, you have to review the PMO functions, whether are they adding value to it or not. And at least once in 12 months. And whenever there is a new stakeholder added to you, or whenever the stakeholder get changes, right? Then at the time you have to do a reevaluation of your PMO functions. And And whenever there is a new function added to a particular PMO, you want to add some more function to the PMO, at the time also you have to do a reevaluation. So typically, if there is no changes, right, at least once in 12 months, you have to reevaluate your PMO and readjust to the marketing trends and also organization needs. Just a quick recap: identify the purpose, secure sponsorship, define PMO process, establish performance indicator, build the team, evaluate and take PMO feedback from the stakeholders, showcase value generation, and scale and optimize. These are the 8 steps that you can follow to set up your PMO's team. Now tell me what PMO I should start. Do you think that it is irrelevant to have a VMO, XMO, EMO, right? Do you agree with my point? Yes, no?
No.
It depends on the business.
So how do you define?
I think based on the organizational need, we'll have to decide.
Great.
The organization culture and things like that.
Organization culture, stakeholder needs, the capability of the PMO team. There are different things. And that is the first failure to any PMO is copying some existing PMO. That's the first fundamental thing that we have to remember, team. And this point, whatever I'm mentioning, team, I'm not just telling out from my experience, been interacting with PMO experts across the globe from many years. I have learned from them, from their experience. So never copy any preset PMOs. And yeah, PMOs are not one size fit all. The structure, function vary. Yeah, I think already these things I have covered. And I mentioned that PMOs always you see it as a service provider. PMOs should be a service provider because we provide services. We have 2 types of stakeholders, one internal stakeholders and one external stakeholders. So internal stakeholders are someone which in the organization. External stakeholders are my customers. So as a PMO, I have to cater both internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So here, whenever I catering, right, I have to cater services. So always PMO should be treated as a service provider within the organization. Why? Because we are measuring the value. Focus on delivery value throughout the expertise and intangible benefits. Adapt continuously to evolve the evolving demands. So to be successful for any PMO, right, you have to show the value perception. You have to show the value. Because here I am not directly going, if I am a sales or marketing, I go in a market and get a good orders to my organization. Here I am developing some standards, helping people to execute the project well. So I have to come up with a methodology. I have to come up with some KPIs which will measure the value with the PMI is generating. Even for me, the PMO which I have set up in my organization, right? I have come up with this particular framework because unfortunately that is more of a Amar Raja specific KPIs, and it has more of this. I cannot show those type of KPIs because it is more related to Amar Raja. Otherwise, I would love to share those type of KPIs, what value generation it is generating to my organization. And just few minutes, PMO at Amar Raja. So I formed we established the PMO at Amar Raja in 2021. This is a recent case study that I want to tell you. And it took 4 years, like 2020, where the foundation of PMO happened, and we standardized the process, and we decided that we need to have cultural shift. Then the second year I can say is 2022, growth and expansion. Here my maturity is moderate to high, and where we enhanced the project oversight, capability development, technology adoption, increased stakeholder engagement. And the phase 3 is optimization. That is in the 3rd year, the optimization happened. In the 4th year, 23-24, our focus is more on innovation and future readiness. And here we try to integrate with some tools to enhance the project outcomes. And also our focus is more on value delivery rather than just executing the project. Executing the project is one thing, but what is the value it is generating over in terms of strategy to the overall organization and leadership development and cultivating a learning organization. This is nowhere you will find this one. This is something I have developed for Amar Raja. This is a culture that we have done. And again, I am preparing something for even for 25-26, my strategic plan for my PMO team. Maybe in future sessions, I can show what exactly the plan for 25-26 also for us. And these are some of the values that we have created: benefits to the customer, benefits to the stakeholders, benefits to the organization. And I don't go in detail. You can just go through it. And by implementing the successful PMO, right, these are some of the benefits that we have produced Amar Raja. 100% projects tracked using digital project management tools. Before I take over as a PMO head 3 years ago, there were projects executing in Excel, and there is no centralized mechanism where. And at any given point of time, we don't know how many projects are there. So the moment I took charge as a PMO head, right, I started centralizing all the projects within Amar Raja, and right now all the projects are 100% tracked in Jira. Day-to-day basis, updates will be done in Jira. The main benefit of it, you know that how many projects are there, how many resources are there assigned to it, and when is the start date ended, how much money we are spending, and all those things will funnel down and give beautiful reports to my organization. And 95% of the projects are within schedule. Earlier, it used to be some 50%, 60%, because there is no one who can track it. We are tracking, and we have a very stringent mechanism. So I can see 95% of the projects are on time. And improved project transparency, because now the data is there in Jira. There is a transparency that if something missed, right, automatically email will trigger that a milestone has been missed. Improved availability of resources, reduced project lifestyle. So earlier, because of this NPD project, we used value stream mapping technique to remove the kaizens and to remove this wastage within our process, and we could able to reduce our new product development cycle by 33%. And so earlier we used to do for 24 months, now we reduced it for 18 months. Standardized tools and templates, improved stakeholder satisfaction, improved communication within the team members, better project prioritization, and greater agility in project making decision. These are some of the decisions that, some of the good things that Amar Raja we have done. And this is my small team. I don't know how many of you have seen it. We have that International Project Management Day that happened last month. This is my small team of 5 people, key team members. So just I thought of flashing it to you. And with this, I will stop it here, team, and I will take any Q&As if you have. On a nutshell, that's a wrap. How exactly that you can do, how you can do a PMO. Sorry. So I know that I took more time, but Gokul will be happy to stay for some more time. If team has more questions, I will be happy to answer them if they are comfortable.
Sure. We have some time left, at least 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes. I will be.
Yeah. The first question that I see is from Madhu Chakravarti. How are the job prospects for a PMOC practitioner, and how important is it to clear the certification? And how would we get practical experience?
Your voice is feeble. I can't hear your voice properly, Gokul.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Better.
Okay. It's basically regarding the PMOCP practitioner certification.
Okay.
Whether it is useful or not, and how it is helpful for the practical experience.
Okay, right. So PMO-CP talks about what are the different functions that a project PMO office should cater. Someone who want to start their journey in PMO office, or it doesn't help you 100% by doing a PMO-CP, you become expert. But someone having a PMO experience and doing that PMO-CP, definitely it will add a lot of value. And again, you cannot adopt 100% what you have learned in PMO-CP to your organization, because the PMO-CP has been developed based out on Western world, where the organization culture is completely different than in our India. So it will be very difficult to adopt each and every point that is mentioned over there in the PMO-CP guide. I struggled. The reason I will tell you is I started this journey PMO-CP 3 years ago. I paid for it. I thought of doing it. I went through it, but I found it is really relevant to Indian context. So that is where I didn't give my exam. 3 years before I did my PMO-CP training, I didn't give my exam. Then again, I got a chance to do recently. That is where I did it because already I paid for it. Let me do it, Bolke. But what is happening is, just wait for some time. has taken over this PMO GA, which defined the certification. So they have come up with a very beautiful process, called Project Management Office Guide book. Like PMBOK, right? We have PMBOK. Similarly, we are getting a guide for PMOs also, how to establish a PMO. There, they have standardized the process and they made it more simple and more elaborate so that anybody can use it across the globe. So from January, I think January end or February early first week, they will be releasing this guide. And the PMO CP exam certification is going to go for a revamp with a new syllabus and with a new thing. So as far as I know, if you want to generate good value for your money, I suggest you to wait for January or February. Take the new, because adding just a certification against your name, it doesn't help you anything, team. Getting the knowledge is what. That's the reason if you see me, I've been in PMI from many years and I have 18 years of experience. I didn't add fancy certifications to my thing. I did PMP. That's it. 10 years, I didn't touch anything. Then I felt like DSSM is something I can implement. We did DSSM. Then PMO CP, as I am into PMO world, I thought of doing. So, which is relevant. So if you are into PMO, if you want to add this PMO CP, just I suggest that wait for the new guide, then learn from the new guide, and then you can do the PMO CP. And definitely it is going to help you.
Okay. I hope that answers the question. And the second question that I have is from Abhigya. Okay. Is it better to use existing PMO tools for project management like ClickUp?
Is it better to use
existing PMO tools for project management like ClickUp?
Is it in the chat window or is it better to, okay, is it better to use existing PMO tools for project management? Like, see here, PMO doesn't define you which project management tool use. It is up to you. It is up to you. If you are, if you have some project management set tools already, here PMO doesn't tell you which tool to use. How to use it will help you. It will help you to define a framework. Using that framework, you can create some standards, how you can use the different tools. But PMO doesn't tells you which tool to use. And if you have some pre-existing tools, please plan to use. In my organization, I use Jira for most of my projects, but I have MSP for all infra projects. I have very big infra projects, 500, 600 crores project. One project cost 500, 600. And all those things I use MSP because Jira doesn't support there. Jira, I can use it. Still, I'm tracking all those in Jira, but most of my works will be done in MSP.
So the next question is how PMO supports on the ROI value before project in track and how to convince stakeholder.
So you have to come up with that is where you have to interact with your stakeholders, try to identify what are the pain areas. So before start of any PMO, right? Before going to your stakeholder, before going to your sponsor to get some money, what you have to do is you interact with my suggestion is what I did is I segregated them into three things like a senior, maybe executive team, CXO team, managers, team members. So I have set off, then I try to understand what is the problem. First example, maybe my executive director here, he is there. He said that he don't have transparency. He don't know how many projects are there, how many projects are on track. He never bothered about project, what is the budget, all. He just bothered whether my project is on track or not, when are we completing. I don't have transparency. Whereas I went to the next level, middle level managers, he was more worried about changing requirements, how to track. And when I went to the lower level team member, they said that they don't have a proper tools or templates where they can use for execution. So here, each one has a different problem. So as a PMO, I want to set up, so I have to come up with three functions. One for transparency, adding transparency. And second one is change management. And the third one is how to use tools and techniques. So I have to have these three things. So before you go to any of the executive to get your sponsorship, right? You identify the pain areas and you come up with a particular solution. This as I have to do these functions to overcome this problem. To establish these functions, I have this requirement, like I need this much budget or I need this much flexibility, I need this responsibility, I need these people. Then you add what is the how much value that you are going to generate. See, by doing this, right, by adding transparency, the executive will have peace of mind. And the second thing is, by having a proper change management mechanism within the organization, the changes will be more tackled properly. And last one, by having tools and templates, right? Then people can use it for the better enhancement of the outcome. So for everything, you have to have some weightage and come up with some, either it might be tangible benefit or intangible benefit. You can see that earlier I used to have some 70% project success rate, but by doing this, I can increase it to 90% project success rate. Each organization will have their, if you discuss with your CIO will see what is the loss of business by entering a product late into the organization. So each organization will have a different method of defining what is the loss by entering market, by late into the market. So everyone has to come up with their unique way of ROI. There is no standard method, but if you follow the process which I mentioned, right, you can very clearly define what is the ROI that a PMO can get to the organization. I hope that answered your questions. If not, you can speak up. I will be happy to connect with you.
Yeah, it was by Mohammed Mazid, and if still you need some more information, Majid, please connect Manohar.
Yeah, I'm just dropping my LinkedIn number, also WhatsApp number.
So
also.
And we have some more questions. At least another couple of minutes, and then we can round it off. If any more questions is required, then please contact Manohar personally, and then clear them out. But I can ask a couple of questions.
Sure, Gokul.
Altaf Sheikh is asking, how can a PMO evolve its role to effectively govern, integrate, and optimize AI-driven tools and processes while ensuring alignment with organizational strategy and mitigating risks associated with AI adoption? And again, Deshu Yaramalle is also asking the similar kind of question where, again, AI, how AI is going to, challenge the PMO and how it is, how you can see the PMOs.
See, team, again, here, it is very difficult. See, the question which you asked, it has, at least I can say 5 to 10, at least I can say that 5 to 10 questions. So how AI is going to help and align with the organization strategy, right? See, definitely, AI is going to help you in terms of better project analytics, especially how you can manage your risk. AI will help you in a bigger way. And how you can plan your project, like I want to develop a project charter, or maybe project charter might be very small. Maybe I want to come up with a detailed project plan. AI will throw me like anything. I don't know something about it. See, just example, I am building a common warehouse, automated warehouse, a new project that I have received it. I don't know. I never worked on a common warehouse. What are the elements of it? What are the challenges out of it? I tried internet, nothing. Then I asked ChatGPT with right questions, right prompts. I got a beautiful 100 line statement. What are the steps that you have to follow? So again, it depends on how effectively you can use it. I cannot just copy paste and use it. Then I have to use my own judgment. I have to discuss with people and come back with a very beautiful project plan using the ChatGPT, which is AI. Similarly, again, the organizational strategy here, I don't say that it is a strategy of PMO. It drives from more. If your organization has strategy of utilizing AI, right, then from that funnel, you can have a strategy for the PMO. Then in the PMO, it is very premature stage, like where you can see is where by using AI, you can eliminate a lot of the laborious manual tasks, like writing minutes. Nowadays, who is writing minutes here? If you go to any of the AI tools, right, if you switch on AI tools, that will throw away beautiful minutes with beautiful action items. I don't need to spend my time writing or recording. Similarly, there are different things. Maybe it is a very elaborative question, Mohammed. I left my WhatsApp number, and also I kept my this is my LinkedIn. You just connected with me. Maybe we can have further discussion, because I don't want to stop everyone because of this question. Okay, can you please share an instance in which you require to raise?
Okay. So there's one last question that I want to ask by Devajyoti Nath. Could you please share an instance in which you are required to rescue a struggling PMO initiative? What strategy did you employ?
Just recently, I can say that many, as I mentioned that my organization, we don't have initial thing that is very easy to tell you. See, NPD project is very critical for any of the product-based organization because mine is a product-based organization. I want to develop new products and send to market. Any NPD, right? Time is critical. Time to market is very critical. The quicker I can deploy a product into market, the more I can generate. I will be more ahead of the competition. So earlier, before deploying the PMO, right? My organization or earlier NPD project was not under my premises. That used to be tracked by some other R&D teams. They used to take at least 20 to 24 months to develop a new product and keep it in the market. Then when we decided, right, I went with my team and we did a thorough analysis of each and every step. Then we can see that there is no project documentation proper. They have project documentation, but there is no structure to it. And the stakeholders reporting is not there. And also tracking mechanism is not there. So what are the functions I said, right? I established a standard mechanism over there. First, I did a VSM. I don't know how many of you know value stream mapping. I understood the current process. I analyzed the current process. Then once you define the current process, you can identify where are the kaizens. You know the downtime. So downtime through, there are 8 different types of kaizens. The kaizens are nothing but waste, which can be removed. So I have analyzed with my team along with a big stakeholders, like all stakeholders were involved in that particular workshop. Then we removed a lot of kaizens. So that what we did is we have standardized the process and we removed the kaizens. With this, we could able to shrink down the NPD project from 24 months to 18 months. That means 6 months earlier I can ship my project. So from last 6 months, what I'm doing is I started tracking 6 months. So every month I am sending a report to my manager, my executive director, stating that this project we used VSM to shrink down. 6 months pay, this is the value perception my organization, my PMO team has done. Every month, these products we are selling around, just as indicatively, some 10 crores product worth of these are selling, right? I'm saying, okay, because of our team, that 50 crores is the benefit that organization has received. And this is one very classic example and very well received within my organization. How you can show the value perception also. This is one good example I can say, tip, where I use the PMO approaches and PMO strategy to help the struggling project. And I have plenty of examples like infrastructure project, digital transformation. We implemented CRM, we implemented vector flow. Many of the very big strategic organization projects. I can talk for what is the time, but I will be happy to connect with you over WhatsApp or LinkedIn and clarify all your doubts.
Okay. With that, thank you, Manohar. And I think we are already 15 minutes.
Just I will ask one question, Gokul, with your permission. I hope that I just want to take a quick feedback. I hope how was the session? Hope that session is informative, team, and you learned something. That's your feedback.
Yeah. Seems like most of them liked it. And
thank you.
Amount of positive responses are coming up. I can't even read. It was informative, great session. Session was great, informative. In no or increased time, session was great and informative. Please share the presentation. Felt like we are in a PMO. So great. Thank you all. Thank you for joining on Monday morning and patiently listening to the
Saturday. You are in Saturday hangover.
Saturday. I'm already gone. Okay. Thank you. And I wish you all a great weekend. And if you have any more questions, sorry that we cannot prolong this time. And I know all of you are interested and want to listen more from Manohar. Even I would like to, but unfortunately time comes to an end. So any other questions, anything that you want to ask, please reach out to Manohar and he's our vice president too. So you can reach any of us in the chapter. We are happy to guide you towards Manohar. And with that, I think we can close the session. And as I already mentioned, we will be awarding one PDU for the session, attending the session. Whoever has PMI credentials, active certifications, and provided PMI ID while registering will be getting a PDU. And if you don't receive a PDU by end of this week, please share your PMI ID to events@pmi-pcc.org. That's events@pmi-pcc.org. So with that, thank you all. Thank you for joining the session. And I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday and coming holiday season. So have fun and happy Christmas to all of you.
Thanks, team. Thanks, Gokul and PMI PCC for the opportunity. And thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And sorry for the technical glitch because of my thing. Have a nice rest of your weekend. Take care and see you soon, team.
Thank you. That's all about PMO.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, team.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Yeah,
PMI.
Manohar, you have to close
Thank you.
because you are
Oh,
the host.
sorry. Yeah, it is with me, right? Okay. Thanks, Gokul.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye.